Hello everyone. Today let's discuss about national parks in comparison with wildlife sanctuaries in consideration with biodiversity conservation. National parks and wildlife sanctuaries. National parks are established under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972's provisions, and likewise the wildlife sanctuaries are also established under the same act. National parks are declared by both the central and state governments, whereas the wildlife sanctuaries are only declared by the state governments. For the national parks, the boundaries are clearly and very much defined, whereas for the wildlife sanctuaries, they are not defined. For the national parks, there is strictly no human activity allowed, unless it is permitted by the chief wildlife warden. For the wildlife sanctuary, normal human activities like tourism and sustainable use of the resources, etc. are allowed. For the national parks, there is no private tenurial rights, whereas for the wildlife sanctuaries, the tenurial rights are allowed. For the national parks, there is strictly no grazing of livestock, whereas for the wildlife sanctuaries, we can harvest the timber, and even like the normal minor producers of the forest, like fruits, vegetables, etc., can be utilized and used, but of course in a sustainable way. For the national parks, the boundaries are defined only by the state government with the recommendation of National Board for Wildlife. For the wildlife sanctuaries, the boundaries aren't defined by any particular authority. In fact, they are very less strict and flexible. Now let's come to some examples of national parks. The famous Kaziranga National Park in Assam and the Manas National Park. Coming to the wildlife sanctuaries examples, the Chakrashila Wildlife Sanctuary and the famous Deeparbil Wildlife Sanctuary. Now let's continue with the mapping. This is the map of Assam. Especially we are going to discuss about the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in Assam. Here is located Raimona Wildlife National Park, and here the Manas National Park, and here the Orang National Park, with here the Nameri National Park, which is also a tiger reserve. And for the wildlife sanctuaries, the Chakrashila Wildlife Sanctuary and the Deeparbil Wildlife Sanctuary and the Laukova Wildlife Sanctuary, with the famous, finally, the Kaziranga National Park, where the famous great one-horned rhino is conserved. Thank you.